Please feel free to adjust the playback speed to 1.25 or 1.5 depending on your preference.
Yunho learns that there are 12 hunters inside. With only 1 A rank, Kimchul, as their leader, the team consists of 1 A rank and 7 B ranks. In the case of an S rank gate, the entire country would be put in a state of emergency, which means it can't be that. That leaves the possibility of this dungeon being a B rank gate. But even in that case, a minimum of 4 A rank hunters would be required to safely complete it. If it's an A rank dungeon, they'll need at least 10 A rankers or 1 S ranker to finish the job. In short, if there's even a chance that it's an A rank gate, every single one of them will die inside. The only survivors might be the high-ranking hunters, but that's all. Sangman decides to reveal a hidden detail about another hunter who entered the gate, someone he's been observing for a while. This piques Yunho's curiosity, and he inquires if the hunter is an A rank or B rank. Sangman shakes his head, denying both. Yunho grows hopeful and wonders if they've found a new S rank hunter to go with the recruits, but that's also not the case. At last, Sangman reveals that he sent an E-ranker inside. And while it isn't shown here, I'm pretty sure Yunho fainted after hearing that. Back inside the gate, the first hunter has just been knocked down. Jin-Woo recognizes the intelligence of the monsters, they're intentionally taking out the weakest hunters first. If this had been the same Sung Jin-Woo from 2 months ago, he would have been their target. An ice elf provokes him from afar, seriously pissing him off. The elves quickly retreat, but Jin-Woo is hellbent on beating the crap out of them later. Kimchul informs everyone about their situation with the red gate. It means that the dungeon won't clear until either they complete it, or until they all die. Songgi inquires further, prompting Jin-Woo to explain that this type of gate connects to another dimension. Stepping inside completely severs the connection from the outside world, meaning they're stuck here for a while. Not just stuck, stranded, until they clear the dungeon. Kimchul reintroduces himself as an A-ranker and takes charge of the operation as the highest-ranked hunter. He tells them they may have to wait for months until the dungeon breaks them free, and even then, there's no guarantee of survival. Red gates are usually considered to be at least B rank. That makes it difficult to manage the group with their current numbers. Kimchul then makes the shocking announcement that he's going to create a dungeon clearance team separate from the rest. Jin-Woo immediately senses BS in his words. Kimchul proceeds to remind them about the ice elves, adding that he's fine with clearing the dungeon alone if no one else joins him. As expected, several hunters choose to join his separate party. It's the most sensible option for survival. What's surprising is that Kimchul forcefully pushes out any of the weaklings he deems unfit. He only allows B-rankers to come with him and explains that 1 day in the red gate equals 1 hour in real time. This means it could take months to clear the boss, and he can't afford to take hunters who might hold him back. The lower-ranked hunters are provoked by his words. After all, they were just labeled dead weight. Kimchul argues that they shouldn't be upset, since if they're still alive by the end, they'll make it out safely. Still, it's a reckless plan overall. Instead of joining him, a green-eyed woman expresses her desire to travel with the others. Kimchul is shocked that she's turning him down just to join the weaklings. He can't figure her out, but invites another member to join in her place. As she walks past Jin-Woo, she notes that their so-called top-ranking hunter didn't even see the arrow that was fired, the same one Jin-Woo caught with his bare hands. She's confident he's far stronger than his rank suggests. Outside the dungeon, Sangman decides to spill the secret about Jin-Woo's reawakening. Yunho is in disbelief and asks if it's speculation or certainty. Sangman admits it's just his best guess for now. Yunho chooses not to rely on speculation and puts his faith in their only A-rank hunter. Jo Sungchan, another manager from the surveillance team, is confident in Kimchul's ability to handle the threat. The man has an excellent record in clearing dungeons, and his fighting skills are no joke. Hearing this gives Yunho some relief. He can't afford to lose a high-ranking hunter like that from the guild. That's why he's hoping Kimchul pulls through with the strike team. Sungchan also takes a jab at the idea of a reawakened E-rank hunter. Sangman doesn't respond, he'd rather let time prove one of them right. A car pulls up, and it's none other than the murderous bastard Dong-Su. He certainly wasn't expecting to run into the guild master himself on this occasion. Just seeing him makes Yunho's blood boil. Even the managers are shocked to see this scumbag from the scavenger guild arriving unannounced. Dong-Su keeps his objectives to himself and claims he's on a business tour. Yunho is immediately provoked, struggling to understand why Dong-Su is in Korea when he's supposed to be in the States. On the other hand, Dong-Su is surprised that someone like Yunho would bother recruiting an E-rank loser with nothing to show for himself. Of course, since Yunho didn't personally handle any of the recruitment, he has no idea what Dong-Su is getting at. Dong-Su then reveals that he's referring to Jin-Woo, who is currently inside the Red Gate raid. The name alone surprises Yunho, while Dong-soo inspects the gate. Realizing the situation, we cut back to Jin-Woo's conversation with a B-rank hunter. She asks how he can remain so calm in such a tense situation. The B-ranker explains that they've learned to accept the harsh reality, anything can happen inside a dungeon raid. Kimchul's special training helped prepare him to join the guild's elite strike squad very soon. The two teams then split, one follows a known path, and the other, led by Jin-Woo, ventures into the forest. Kimchul leaves them to fend for themselves. After a while, the B-ranker reminds Jin-Woo that she had asked him a question he never answered. Jin-Woo brushes it off casually, acting unsure of his own rank. But now she's even more convinced he's at least A rank, maybe even higher. Meanwhile, Kimchul and his squad mock the others for venturing into the forest, known territory of dangerous ice bears. To him, they're all as good as dead, doomed by the foolish decision of an E-rank hunter. They don't expect much from Jin-Woo, assuming he hasn't even undergone proper training. But something nags at Kimchul. A B-ranker chose to follow Jin-Woo, and everyone in that group seems to view him as their leader despite his supposed low rank. He shrugs it off, calling them dead meat for now, and readies for battle with his axe. Back outside the gate, the S-rank hunters are still discussing. Dong-soo is somewhat impressed with Jin-Woo's ability to cover his tracks. Yunho, however, still doesn't understand why so many people are fixated on this E-ranker. Inside the red gate, an ice bear slams its fist into a hunter's shield, but the shield is so strong it tears the creature's hand apart. Kimchul takes advantage and delivers a decisive finishing blow. He plows through a group of ice bears single-handedly, impressing his party and giving them a sense of relief. He's proud that he's able to handle this much as their leader. His group thinks it's a good idea to harvest food from the ice bears, but Kimchul insists they stay alert until they're out of the forest. He knows he's the only one strong enough to take on enemies like these. Back with Jin-Woo's group, the B-ranker suddenly tells them to stop. She points to territorial markings, a sign that they've entered an ice bear's domain. Even she knows the danger. Jin-Woo pauses and asks if she's sure. She second-guesses herself and suggests they turn back. But Jin-Woo doesn't seem interested in retreat. Instead, he says it's better to deal with the bears than risk running into the intelligent and far deadlier ice elves. It clicks for her, even the ice bears have predators. So maybe, Jin-Woo is right. It's safer to face these brutes than magical beasts further inside. Also, Jin-Woo notices the cold and takes a warm coat out of his inventory, handing it to her so she doesn't freeze. She's stunned. The fact that he could pull an item from thin air shows he's using spatial magic. The other hunters are just as shocked and begin to question his identity. Even Song can't figure him out. Jin-Woo pats her head gently and says he's just doing the bare minimum to keep her safe. In return, he asks her not to ask questions. The same condition applies to everyone else. He wants them to stay quiet and not expect anything from him. Suddenly, a massive ice bear charges at them. The other hunters panic. These monsters are high-ranking threats. They're now regretting entering the forest. The B-ranker even tries to act as a decoy, sacrificing herself to save the others. But Jin-Woo yanks her back and assures her that he's handling it. She thinks he's being arrogant despite his strength. But Jin-Woo is focused. He's after experience points. He switches his title to Wolf Assassin, boosting his combat stats by 40%. As the ice bear claws at him, he leaps into the air as light as a feather. Charging his fist with incredible power, Jin-Woo is confident he can take the beast down bare-handed. His punch crashes into the ice bear's head with a thunderous smack, slamming its full body weight into the ground. His overwhelming strength leaves everyone speechless.
We will finish this chapter here. Next chapter will be out soon, so stay tuned.